Hello everyone, this is the Board Game Lawyer. Today I'm going to do yet another Marvel Champions playthrough. And of course, Marvel Champions is a product of Fantasy Flight Games. So I'm really looking forward to trying out a new challenge from the Marvel Champions monthly podcast crew. They've challenged the community to match up number 7, and they've entitled this one Metal on Metal. So they've asked us to play against Ultron this time, and they let us pick the difficulty. So if I get to go against Ultron, I'm always going to pick Standard probably. And they ask us to choose as our hero either War Machine or Iron Man. So we've picked Iron Man today. You can see Tony Stark there on the table. And then they ask us to record how many drones each of these heroes defeats. So in order to keep track of how many drones we've defeated today, I've got my drone thwacker tracker here. And I'll just kind of keep it off to the side. Okay, so as always, if you see anything I messed up during this playthrough, please let me know in the comments down below. So we'll get started. Of course, Tony Stark is Iron Man's alter ego. It says he's a futurist, and he has an action. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 to your hand, discard the others, and we can do this a limit of once per round. This side he has a recovery of 3, and it begins with 9 hit points and a hand size of 6. So Ultron, he has a scheme of 1, an attack of 2, and he has a star next to that 2, which is a forced response. After Ultron attacks you, choose to either place 1 threat on the main scheme or put the top card of your deck into play face down engaged with you as a drone minion. And he begins with 17 hit points. Now Ultron's main scheme is broke up into 3 different cards here. The first one is the Crimson Cowl, side 1A. And it tells us what our contents needs to be for this game. So, of course, we've got Ultron 1 and 2. Also, we have the standard encounter set mixed into our encounter deck. And 1 modular encounter set. And they recommend Under Attack. Well, I've taken Under Attack out today. And I've included instead the Beastie Boys, because I think Tony Stark would like that. So, the setup for this, Crimson Cowl says to put the Ultron drone's environment into play and shuffle the encounter deck and advance to stage 1B. So I'll lay that down for now. Just go ahead and give my encounter deck a quick shuffle. Go ahead and give my player deck a quick shuffle as well. I shuffled these quite a bit already. We'll just give it a couple more. So the Ultron drone's environment reads, it is an environment. It says each face-down drone minion engaged with a player has a scheme of 1 and a base attack of 1 and base hit points of 1. Forced response. After a face-down drone minion is defeated, place that card in its owner's discard pile. So that's our Ultron drones environment. Side 1B of the Crimson Cowl reads, when revealed, each player puts the top card of their deck into play face down, engaged with them as a drone minion, and it begins with threat of 0. All it takes is 3 threat, too, to complete 1B of these Ultron main schemes. So we'll go ahead and put 1 card face down into play, and that's going to represent an Ultron drone. So we'll just mark him as a drone there. And then we'll draw up our hand size of 6. So we have Ironheart. We draw the Plasma Pistol. We draw the Night Nurse. We also draw a Repulsor Blast. Beat 'em Up. And Clea. Clea's defeated, shuffle her in her owner's deck. So obviously I'm playing with protection today. And so for our first, let's see, I think what I'll do is I am going to discard the Repulsor Blast. I'm just going to mulligan a few cards out. I think I'll do the same thing with Beat 'em Up. Set that aside for now. We'll keep Plasma Pistol, Ironheart, the Night Nurse, and Clea. We'll discard her as well. So we'll draw 3 more cards. We have the Mark V helmet. We have the Arc Reactor. And we draw Spider-Man. So Tony Stark's ability says that he can look at the top 3 cards of my deck and add 1 to my hand and discard the others. So we're going to draw a Genius. We'll draw Supersonic Punch. And we'll also draw our Rocket Boots. So I'll go ahead and keep the Genius card, and I'll discard these 2. And we'll add that to our hand. So I think we'll first start by placing Ironheart onto the table. After you play Ironheart from your hand, draw 1 card. So we can use our Genius card to put Ironheart onto the table. We'll draw our card. So we draw Starhawk. Okay. And the Arc Reactor, we can ready Iron Man. Our helmet allows us to thwart the Night Nurse. Can help us out down the road. The Plasma Pistol. So I would like to get a few upgrades on the table. So I think I'll put the Mark V helmet out for Tony Stark, and we'll spin Spider-Man to do that. I would also like to put out the Arc Reactor. Yeah, I probably should. Or the Plasma Pistol. Tell you what, why don't I spend resources just aren't lining up very well to be able to play any more than 1 more card. So I think what we'll do is we will go ahead and put the Arc Reactor on Iron Man, and we'll spend 2 to do that. We'll use the Plasma Pistol and Starhawk to put out the Arc Reactor. And the Night Nurse, we'll just hang on to that for now. So we will flip over to our Tony over to our Iron Man side. Now he has a thwart of 2, an attack of 1, a defense of 1, and he says that I get +1 hand size for each tech upgrade I control to a maximum size of 7. Well, right now I only have 2 tech upgrades on the table, so at the end of this turn, the maximum number of cards it looks like I can draw will be 3. And one of them is our Night Nurse, if we decide to keep her. So with Ironheart, we'll go ahead and we'll take care of that first drone. So she's going to attack that drone, and she's going to do 1 attack, which will take care of him, knock him out. And so that'll give us our Beat 'em Up card back. And we'll put that in our discard pile. So we have defeated so far 1 drone. We'll place him off to the side here. And then exhaust the helmet to remove a threat. We don't have any. Exhaust Arc Reactor to ready Iron Man. So we'll just go ahead and do some damage to Ultron. So we'll do 1 damage to Ultron. We'll exhaust our Arc Reactor to ready Iron Man. We'll do another damage to Ultron. And I think what I'll do is, I'll hang on to that Night Nurse, and I'll go ahead and draw 2 more cards. So we draw the Powered Gauntlets, and we draw War Machine. So that's our hand size going into our next round. So we'll ready Ironheart. We'll ready the Arc Reactor, Iron Man, and we'll begin Ultron's turn. So Ultron gets to add 1 threat to the Crimson Cowl, and he's going to attack Iron Man. It says after Ultron attacks you, choose to either place 1 threat on the main scheme or put the top card of your deck into play face down, engaged with you as a drone minion. So we will attack. He's going to attack Iron Man, but Ironheart is going to block it. So we'll draw for that attack, and he draws a 3. 1 plus 2 is 3. So Ironheart is defeated. And we'll bring that Ultron drone back out onto the table. So there's our drone. And for our encounter card, we're going to draw Assault. When revealed, the villain attacks you. So now Ultron's going to attack Iron Man again. And it says after Ultron attacks you, choose to either place one threat on the main scheme or put one. Now, I did that drone whenever that drone came out. After he attacks, yeah, so he's going to go ahead and attack Iron Man as well. And so Ultron is going to attack Iron Man, and it says Ultron heals 1 damage for each drone minion engaged with you. So he's going to heal 1 damage. So that brings Ultron up to 16. And so he's going to do 1, 2, 3 damage to Iron Man. So that'll knock him down to 5. Iron Man's down to 5. And we bring another drone out onto the table since Ultron attacked. And we'll begin Iron Man's turn. So Iron Man's going to begin by attacking first that drone. There's going to be a lot of activity on the table today, and that retrieves our Pepper Potts card. So we took out another drone, so that's 2 now. We're going to exhaust the arc reactor to ready Iron Man. He's going to attack the other drone. This drone's removed. We get back our endurance card, and so now we're up to 3 on our thwacker tracker. All right. Then he has his helmet, so we'll exhaust that helmet to remove that 1 threat from the Crimson Cowl. And we have our power gauntlets. Exhaust power gauntlets and deal 1 damage to an enemy, 2 instead if you have the aerial trait. So we'll go ahead and we'll put out the powered gauntlets. Spin 2 for that. And I think we're going to have to probably just go ahead and end our turn. We'll flip over to Tony Stark. Here it says that he can look at the top 3 cards of our deck before we do that and see if there's any that we want to keep. So we've got the Beat 'em Up card, we have the Stark Tower, and we've got the Supersonic Punch. So I think I'll hang on to that Stark Tower, toss those 2, and then we'll draw up our hand size of 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry about the loud trucks outside. So we'll ready the Mark 5 helmet, the arc reactor, the powered gauntlets, Tony Stark, and we'll place our hand over here for now. So Ultron, the Crimson Cowl, is going to place 1 threat on the main scheme. He's going to scheme, so he draws a star. It says boost. Choose to either spend a mental resource or put the top card of your deck into play face down, engage with you as a drone minion. Let's see what we got in our hand. So I could actually spend a wild resource to prevent that from happening. And so since there is no more scheme that Ultron draws, we only place 1 threat on the Crimson Cowl. So we keep from flipping that main scheme early here. And then we will draw our encounter card, which reads Drone Factory. When revealed, each player puts the top card of their deck into play face down, engage with them as a drone minion. Place 1 threat here for each drone minion in play. So we'll put this side scheme over here for now. So it starts with 4. We place 1 drone minion into play. So it's going to be 5. It has an acceleration icon on it, so we'll be adding a lot more threat at the beginning of each turn to the Crimson Cowl if we don't take care of that side scheme pretty quickly. And that will be it for Ultron's turn. So that'll take us into Tony Stark's turn. Let's see. And we will begin by, first of all, playing Nick Fury. So we'll put Nick Fury out here onto the table. We'll spend 4 resources for that. So the power in all of us, we have 2 of those. Whenever we play Nick Fury, he gives us some options. We can either remove 2 threat from a scheme, draw 3 cards, or deal 4 damage to an enemy. At the end of the round, Nick Fury's still in play, discard him. So we'll go ahead and draw 3 cards, see what we get. So we draw the Energy Barrier, we draw Machine Man, and we draw Electrostatic Armor. So the Stark Tower reads, exhaust Stark Tower, choose a player. That player returns the topmost tech upgrade in their discard pile to their hand. So before we do that, let's first look and see what his futurist ability can do for us. It says look at the top 3 cards of your deck and add 1 to your hand. So we'll draw the Energy Barrier, the Mark 5 Armor, and the Repulsor Blast. So I think what we'll do is let's keep the Mark 5 Armor. And we'll discard those other 2. That gives us 6 additional hit points, which we're going to need that. So the next thing we'll do is we'll spend our energy to put out the Energy Barrier. The Energy Barrier says that when you take any amount of damage, remove 1 reflection counter from here, prevent 1 of that damage, and deal 1 damage to an enemy. And it comes into play with 3 reflection counters on it. So we'll put our 3 reflection counters on Energy Barrier. The nice thing about Energy Barrier is it too is a tech upgrade. So now we're up to 4. And we also have our Mark 5 Armor. And I think we'll go ahead and spend our resources to put that out. So that adds an additional 6 hit points to us. So we go from 5 all the way up to 11. With a maxed out value of 9 plus 6 is 15. So we can get Tony Stark up to 15 health points now. So I think what we'll do is we're going to exhaust Nick Fury. We'll do 1 consequential damage to him, and we'll remove 2 threat from the drone factory. That'll take it down to 3. If we remove, let's flip over to our Iron Man side. So we can use the Mark 5 helmet to remove a threat. Remove some threats, so we'll take 1 off of the drone factory, and that'll take it down to 2. We will exhaust Iron Man. He removes 2 threat from the drone factory, so that'll take care of that side scheme. It's gone. We'll place it in the discard pile, and we'll exhaust the arc reactor to ready Iron Man. And he's going to do that again. He's going to remove 2 threat from the Crimson Cowl. And then we'll exhaust our powered gauntlets. Exhaust powered gauntlets, deal 1 damage to an enemy, 2 instead if you have the aerial trait. So if we exhaust our power gauntlets, now we can remove that drone. And we'll get our rocket boots back. And on our tracker, we'll go back up to 4 now. Okay, so Nick Fury. We have Iron Man. We have plenty of... We can draw up a hand size, which is equivalent now to our Tony Stark side. And we're at 11 hit points. So I'll draw my hand size of 6 now. So we draw the Repulsor Blast, the Energy Barrier, we draw the Plasma Pistol, Strength, the Power of Protection, and 1 more is the Powered Gauntlets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards to go into our next turn. So Ultron, the Crimson Cowl, is going to place 1 threat onto his main scheme. Ultron's going to attack Iron Man. So Nick Fury is going to jump out in front of it. So we do 1, 2, 3 damage to Nick Fury. So that discards Nick Fury, but it does trigger our forced response since Ultron attacked us. We blocked it with Nick Fury. So we bring out that another Ultron drone onto the table. And that ran through our deck. So I need to shuffle. And unfortunately, that adds an additional encounter card. Okay, so we shuffle our play deck. And we deal ourselves an additional encounter card to deal with on our next turn. So now the Ultron drone is going to attack Iron Man, but the energy barrier is going to jump out in front. It's going to do, nope, I don't have to exhaust it to do that. When you take any amount of damage, remove one reflection counter from here, prevent one of that damage, and deal 1 damage to an enemy. So that Ultron drone is going to be gone. We retrieve our plasma pistol, goes to our discard pile, and there's another drone down. So now we're up to 5. 5 drones. And just let's look at our hand again, since we have protection. Don't really have anything to do now, so we'll deal ourselves an additional encounter card. And our first one says Android Efficiency. When revealed, each player puts the top card of their deck into play face down. Engage with them as a drone minion. I guess we're seeing a theme here, huh? Lots of drone minions. And that'll take care of that card. And then our next one reads, when revealed, the villain attacks you. So Ultron is going to attack Iron Man. And we're going to draw our card for that. So he draws a 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 damage to Iron Man. So we're going to reflect one of them. When you would take any amount of damage, remove 1 reflection counter from here, prevent 1 of that damage, and deal 1 damage to an enemy. So we will move that to just do 4 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4 to Iron Man. And we're going to deflect that to the Ultron drone so we can retrieve our Nick Fury card. And of course, that gives us another tick on our counter. So our assault card goes to our discard pile. So that will end Ultron's turn, I believe. And now it's time to play. Whoop, nope, he attacked. So keep in mind that was an attack. And so we're going to have to add another drone out there onto the table. So here comes another one out. All right. So we've got an energy barrier that we could play using our power of protection. And I think we'll do that. We'll put that on the table using the power of protection. So here comes our 3 energy counters. Our reflection counters. Whoop. We have our powered gauntlets that we'll put out for 1, or for 2. And we use our strength to do that. So now we have 7 tech upgrades out onto the table. And we will use one of these powered gauntlets. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go ahead and make some changes here. Just because I like to do that. So we will use one of our powered gauntlets to do 1 damage to the Ultron drone. So he is discarded, and we retrieve our Genius card. So that brings us up to 7. Next, we will use our Repulsor Blast, deal 1 damage to an enemy, and discard the top 5 cards of your deck for each printed energy resource discard this way, deal an additional 2 damage to that enemy. So we will draw 5 cards. So Endurance, we draw Repulsor Blast, we draw Clea, we draw Beat 'em Up, and we draw Machine Man. So we do 1 damage plus 2 is 5 damage to Ultron using that Repulsor Blast. And that'll bring him down to 11. And then we've got another Powered Gauntlet. So we'll do 1 more damage to Ultron. We have our Mark V helmet, exhaust, to remove 1 threat from a scheme. So we'll take 1 threat off of the Crimson Cowl. We'll do 1 damage to Ultron using Iron Man. Brings him down to 9. We'll ready Iron Man. And we'll do another damage to Ultron, and that'll bring him down to 8. Okay, so we'll ready all of our upgrades here. And a lot of activity out on the road today. You could probably hear that out outside my window. And so now we can draw a hand size of 7. So we got a Repulsor Blast. We draw Starhawk, the Power in All of Us, the Rocket Boots, Beat 'em Up, another Beat 'em Up, and Spider-Man. So Beat 'em Up says deal 1 damage to the villain and each minion engaged with you. So that's a handy one to have. All right, so we'll add the 1 threat to the Crimson Cowl. Crimson Cowl's going to attack Iron Man, and he's going to attack him for 0 plus 2. We'll go ahead and use 2 energy barriers to reduce that to 0, and we'll do 2 damage back at Ultron. And that will take care of this one because it timed out. So Ultron's down to 6. And let's see, just make sure here. Okay. And then we will draw our encounter card. So our encounter card is Rage of Ultron. When revealed, alter ego, not an alter ego, so we'll read the hero version. It says, Ultron attacks you, discard the top card of your deck for each damage dealt by this attack. Ooh, okay. So this didn't need to exhaust. We need to remember to do that. So Ultron is going to attack Iron Man. Iron Man's going to defend. So we draw a 2 plus 2 is 4. So we'll deflect 1 of that damage back at Ultron. And we blocked 1 damage, so we'll have to do 2 damage to Iron Man. And then it says on that card, Rage of Ultron, to discard the top card of your deck for each damage dealt by this attack. So prevent the damage. I assume I prevented damage by defending that attack. So we'll discard 2 cards from our deck. So we discard the Supersonic Punch, and we discard another Supersonic Punch. So wow, those have been good to have right now. So we've got Starhawk, some Rocket Boots, we got Beat 'em Up, and so Ultron attacked me. I believe I forgot to put my drones out whenever that happened. So actually that Supersonic Punch and that Supersonic Punch should have been placed on the table for each of those attacks. And we should have discarded 2 other cards, which was the Plasma Pistol and the Night Nurse. Got to remember whenever he attacks that I have to put either threat on the main scheme or place those drones into play. So we've got lots of drones on the table. Now again, so Iron Man's turn is going to consist of playing Beat 'em Up. Deal 1 damage to the villain and each minion engaged with you. So we're going to do 1 damage to Ultron. 4. And then each minion engaged with me. So that takes care of this drone. And we've already seen that card, the Supersonic Punch. We remove this drone, and that takes care of the other Supersonic Punch. So now we're up to 9 drones that Iron Man has defeated, and we're still on stage 1 of Ultron. Okay. So with our Mark V helmet, we will remove 1 threat from the Crimson Cowl. With our powered gauntlets, we'll do a damage to Ultron. With our other powered gauntlet, we'll do another damage to Ultron. Rocket boots. Spider-Man. Playing Spider-Man from our hand, he could block, so we could stay upright. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll still be able to draw 7 cards at the end of our turn if I play Spider-Man. Or we could do the Repulsor Blast. Or we could play Starhawk. Let's do Starhawk. We'll spend two resources to play Starhawk onto the table. He's going to attack Ultron for 2. 1, 2. And we do 2 consequential damage to Starhawk. And that completes stage 1 of Ultron. So we'll place it out of play. Stage 2 says that Ultron now has a scheme of 2, an attack of 2, and a forced interrupt. When Ultron attacks you, put the top card of your deck into play, engage with you as a drone minion. Until the end of this attack, Ultron gets +2 attack for each drone minion engaged with you. All right, and then the last thing that we'll do is we will put some rocket boots onto Iron Man. Not quite the last thing that I'll do, because I can still exhaust my arc reactor to ready Iron Man. And then we'll do 1 more attack to Ultron, who started with 22, and now he's down to 21. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards we've got. Oh, tech upgrades on the table. We'll ready Starhawk. We'll ready Iron Man, and we'll draw our 7 cards. So we defeated 2 Ultron drones that turn. Correct? Yeah, we did. So we're up to 11. Keep track of those guys. So we draw 7 cards. We've got Pepper Potts, some Rocket Boots, Ironheart, Electrostatic Armor, Power in All of Us, and the Energy Barrier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 more card, 7. Stark Tower. All right. Ultron's going to place a threat on the Crimson Cowl. Ultron attacks Iron Man. Forced interrupt. When Ultron attacks you, put the top card of your deck into play face down with you as a drone minion until the end of the attack. So, top card comes out. We're going to block it with Starhawk. So he's 2 plus 1 is 3. And then we draw another 2, so that's 5. So Starhawk is defeated. And the Ultron drone is going to attack Iron Man and knock him down to 4. Nope, he won't. We're going to leave him at 5. We'll use our energy barrier to knock out that Ultron drone. And that'll retrieve our energy card for us. So that's another Ultron drone gone. And then we'll draw our encounter card. And our encounter card reads Griffin, Quick Strike. After Griffin attacks and damages a character, stun that character. So here's our Beastie Boys cards. And he's going to attack for 3. So 3 damage. 1, 2, 3. And he's going to stun that character. So Iron Man is stunned. All right. That'll end Ultron's turn. Now we've got a big minion to deal with on the table. Let's see what we can do there about that. So we're going to play Ironheart onto the table. Using the power in all of us, Ironheart is going to draw a card. And we draw a War Machine. Exhaust War Machine and deal 2 damage to him. Deal 1 damage to each enemy. All right. I think we definitely need to get rid of that Griffin. Can we do that? Let's see what we've got here. Pepper Pots, War Machine. 1, 2, 3, 4. We probably could if we played War Machine. So let's put War Machine onto the table. We'll spend, let's see. Yeah, we'll spend these 4 resources to put War Machine onto the table. So War Machine will attack the Griffin. And he'll do 2 damage to the Griffin. And then Ironheart will attack the Griffin. So that'll do another damage. We will exhaust our Rocket Boots. Hey, look at that, Rocket Boots. I forgot that it gets to add 1 hit point to Iron Man. Hey, let's do that now. So we're going to bring him back up to 3. And so we have a mental resource here. We can exhaust Rocket Boots and spend a mental resource to gain the aerial trait until the end of the phase. And now that we have the aerial trait, we can do 2 damage with this powered gauntlet, and we can do 2 damage with this powered gauntlet, and that'll get rid of the Griffin. That brute is in the trash. Okay. And then, so we'll attack Ultron with Iron Man, which will basically just remove that stun card. And then we'll ready him using the arc reactor. So Iron Man's going to attack Ultron, knock him down to 20. And then we will exhaust our helmet to remove 1 threat from the Crimson Cowl. And we'll ready all of our characters here. So we ready Iron Man, his boots, his armor, his helmet, his arc reactor, his gauntlets. And we get to draw 7 cards. And I've only got 1 card left in my deck, so we're going to have to deal ourselves an encounter card to draw ourselves 7 cards. So there's 1. And I'll shuffle my deck. Shuffling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see, how many is that now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right, so Ultron, Crimson Cowl. Ultron brings a drone into play. Ultron is attacking Iron Man. Ironheart is going to jump out in front. So he will do 2 plus 2 is 4 damage to Ironheart. So she gone. And then we will deal ourselves an encounter card, and we have 2 encounter cards to deal with. We'll take this one first. When revealed, each player puts the top card of their deck into play. Engage with them as a drone minion. So that's Android Efficiency. So we have another drone out there. And then our other card is the Mandrill. Mandrill gains Retaliate X. X equals the number of confused characters, friendly or enemy, in play. When revealed, confuse each character you control. So War Machine is confused. And now Iron Man is confused. All right. And we have another big minion to deal with. The Mandrill. He's a beast of a boy, that's for sure. Okay. All right. Does anybody have any kind of guard on him? I need to start burning down that Iron Man over there. Or that Ultron over there. He's got 20 hit points, though. Let's try it. Let's do some blasting. We're going to first blast with War Machine. That's going to take care of 2 damage off of Ultron. 1, 2. So he's down to 18. It does 1 consequential damage to War Machine. I almost wanted to instead. Let's see. What can we do? We could remove all those drones by using his ability. And that'll only be a difference of 1 damage, and he'll be gone, and that confused card will be gone. Exhaust War Machine, deal 2 damage to him, deal 1 damage to each enemy. So instead of doing that, we're going to do this. We're going to put him back on 19 on Ultron, and that'll get rid of both of these drones. That'll give me some cards back, my energy barrier. That'll give me my Spider-Man card back. War Machine is gone. Confused card is gone. Okay. Next up. We are going to play that Repulsor Blast. You know what? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to exhaust that Mark 5 helmet. That'll get rid of that confused card off of Iron Man. Should we go for the Mandrill? He gets retaliate equal the number of confused characters. All right, so I think we'll do a Repulsor Blast on him. So we'll spend let's spend our plasma pistol to play the Repulsor Blast. So it's going to do 1 damage to Mandrill. We discard 5 cards. Pepper Potts, Power in All of Us, which is a wild. We got another wild. Got another wild. So we get to do 6. So all the damage is done to Mandrill. He's removed from the table. Did we count our drones? We didn't. So 13, 14 drones on our Thwacker tracker. We're going to exhaust the rocket boots to do 2 damage and 2 damage to Ultron. So that'll drop him down to 15. We'll spend 2 Power of Protection to put Clea onto the table. And when she's defeated, shuffle her into her owner's deck. So we'll do 1 more damage to Ultron with Clea. So that brings him down to 14. And it does 1 consequential damage to her. And now we have another Repulsor Blast. So we'll do the same thing. Discard 5 cards. Let's see what happens. So we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we do 8, 9 damage to Ultron. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's now down to 5. Let's see. We will attack with Iron Man. Takes him down to 4. We'll exhaust our arc reactor to take him down to 3. And we'll take our chances. So we'll ready all of our upgrades. We'll ready Clea. We'll ready Iron Man. And we'll draw 7 cards. So we draw Nick Fury. Beat him up. Stark Tower, Electrostatic Armor, Supersonic Punch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 cards as energy. Ultron places 1 threat on the Crimson Cowl. Ultron is going to attack. Clea is going to jump out. We place 1 more drone on the table. He's going to attack Clea for 1, 2, 3, and 4. So she's defeated. She goes, she gets shuffled into my deck. Ultron drone is going to attack Iron Man. So he'll do 1 damage to Iron Man. And then we draw our encounter card, which is Advanced Ultron Drone. He's a guard. When Advanced Ultron Drone is defeated, the engaged player puts the top card of their deck into play face down, engage with them as a drone minion. So we have another drone on the table. That's going to end Ultron's turn. So we've got some options here. We're going to have to beat that guard first. Let's see if we can do that. Yep, I think we're going to, with Iron Man's rocket boots, we will use our mental resource. So he'll have the aerial trait till the end of the turn of the round, using Stark Tower. So the powered gauntlets, 2 damage, 2 damage, and the Ultron drone is defeated. So he is a drone, so we'll add 1 more to our tracker. And then whenever he's defeated, he says that he can bring he brings another drone into play. So there's another drone. Iron Man will exhaust to knock out this drone, and we'll retrieve our plasma pistol. We will ready Ultron or Iron Man using our arc reactor, and he'll do another damage to this drone, and we'll get our Machine Man back. So that's 2 more drones. So that brings us up to a total of 17. And then we will exhaust our Mark helmet to remove a threat off of the Crimson Cowl. We'll spend 1, 2, 3, 4 resources to put out Nick Fury. And I think this time we'll just use his 4 damage to an enemy. So that'll take Ultron all the way down to 0. So stage 2 of Ultron is defeated. So that was a pretty fun game. Our drone thwacker tracker tells us that we beat 17 drones in that game, and so we'll record that. So again, I'd like to thank the Marvel Champions monthly podcast crew for issuing this challenge. It'd be great if everyone could record their results as well, so I'll put a link to that challenge down below. I want to thank everyone for watching today. If you want to get in touch with me, you can shoot me an email at boardgamelawyer@gmail.com. Again, thanks for watching, and I hope to bring you another video again very soon.